Hello, YouTube and X. It's your main man, BTM here, bringing you back to the BTM Crypto News Network. So, thanks for joining. Today, we're talking about Bittensor Tao is heating up, and we're going to get into some details from this Resi financials and the grayscale filing. And Bittensor is not even really a crypto. It's its own thing. Like it's a whole lot going on. So today we're going to talk about Bittensor Tao becoming one of the most interesting stories in crypto again. And this time it's not just AI hype. It's not just a price chart. It's not just people throwing out wild predictions. Right now, Tao has two very different bullish narratives working at the same time. On one side, we got Grayscale, real institutional structure, real Bittensor trust, public filing, and continued updates around the project. Grayscale's Bittensor trust page is live, and trades go under xTAO. And Grayscale says it gives investors exposure to Tau through a security rather than holding the token directly. On the other hand, we're talking about the Resi Financial, one of the niche ecosystems stories in Bittensor, focused on real estate intelligence and operating that subnet 46. Rez calls itself the real estate oracle and an institutional grade intelligence layer for prop tech. Um, and let's start the screen share and see what we can see. So this is the Bittensor ecosystem. Let me know what you guys think about that. There is so much going on with Bittensor. It is crazy. So let me know what you guys think about that and this whole Bittensor thing going forward. And we're going to go back over to Rizzy. Let's quick pause for a commercial break. So shout out to Caleb and Brown. Caleb and Brown is a crypto brokerage, and Caleb and Brown sponsors the BTM Crypto News channel. So thanks for joining, and you can use the link in my description to sign up for Caleb and Brown. I think I am like 2 users away from that bonus. So go ahead and how you want to see your crypto, go ahead and sign up. I'll get that bonus and I think 2 more users. So appreciate you guys supporting the channel. So appreciate you supporting the BTM Crypto News Network. And also I have a tile video I posted yesterday. And your personal crypto 24/7 support. You get a human person on the line, not just a IVR or a recorded system, and you get a one-on-one personal broker assigned to you, so you don't have to start over every time. You get someone who knows you and knows what you're looking for and kind of assesses your level of crypto, so they're not going to shoot you with a banana in the tailpipe or some wild speculative play, something you can understand and work on. And this is a quick short about Bittensor Tao. Let me see if we can start this over.
Bittensor's token, Tao, has broken back above $300, surging to a 4-month high near $315, before easing to around $308 on Tuesday. The move was up about 12% on the day, with spot trading volume jumping to roughly $655 million, a sign fresh buyers may be stepping in. Traders are now watching $326 as the next key resistance. A clean break there could pull Tao toward 350. But there's a catch. Derivatives activity is running hot, with open interest rising to about $404 million and futures volume near 1.8 billion. If Tao loses 300 again, the rally could unwind fast, with support near 260.
So shout out to uh that person for that quick short and update. Just trying to make sure my Twitter feed's working, and it is. Well, let's get back here. So that was Ape Crypto Magazine, and this is Subnet Summer. So let's see what they have to say real quick. Let me play this one as well.
Staking Tau is how you back the validators without running servers. Bittensor calls this delegation. You stake Tau to a validator. The validator's total stake, including delegated stake, affects its consensus power and emission share. Validators can set a take. After that, remaining emissions are credited back to delegators proportionally. Here's the part people miss. Staking is local to a subnet. Bittensor documents that each subnet has an AMM pool. Your Tau enters the subnet's Tau reserve, and you receive alpha stake tied to that subnet. This is how capital connects to decentralized AI markets. Subnets compete to create valuable outputs, and validators and stakers shape participation. Learn the mechanism first, ignore hype, then make informed decisions. Subscribe for the next video. How Subnet 71 turns this incentive system into a real product.
Bittensor has been one of the better performers.
So shout out to the other update. I closed it too fast, but you can see here Bittensor is at 11.4% up today, 0.1 on the hour, 13.2 on the week, 84% on the month, and 25.5 on the year. And Satoshi's is up 5%. Poly Mesh is up 3.8. Prime is up 6.7. Casper's up 0.9. Litecoin is up 0.1. Atoms is up 0.4. Hyperliquid is up 3.1 on the day, 0.4 on the hour. TON tokens up 2.6. XLM is up 0.3. Arbitron's up 0.7. Quant is up 1.6 on the day, 0.9 on the hour, 4.8 on the week, 13.5 on the month. FET is up 6% on the day, 1.1 on the hour, down 1.6 for the week, up 46.1 on the month, and down 54.6 on the year. And going back to Tao's up 0.1 on the hour, 11.4 on the day, 13.2 on the week, 84 point. Oh, I just went up 84.4 on the month, and 25.8 on the year. Shout out to what is going on, Silver Days. Thanks for joining the hardest working viewer in crypto. We shout out to Silver Days there. So keeping it moving. So this is the Bittensor ecosystem, and you can see all the subnets on Bittensor. These guys are freaking busy. And this is what we're talking about today, the Resi real estate. So this is right now there are two very different bullish narratives working at the same time. On one side, Grayscale, real institutional structure, real Bittensor trust. I was going to look that up. Public filing, continued updates and products around the Grayscale Bittensor trust. Bittensor Trust page is live. On the other hand, let me see if I can find this. Find that Bittensor Trust page, actually. So I'll just over a little bit. So what is this? This is Grayscale's Bittensor Trust. And we got to put Grayscale on here as well. And I got the Grayscale. I should have worn my Grayscale shirt, actually. Weird. But where is the page? Ah, booyah. Let's see, is it here? So it is here. I'm picking this up ASAP. So this is private funds, publicly traded, Grayscale Bittensor Trust, xTAO. Grayscale's Bittensor Trust. There are two ways to invest in this project. Place private fund, publicly traded fund. Grayscale's Bittensor Trust. The trust is one of the first investment vehicles that enable investors to gain the token underlying the Bittensor platform Tao in a form of security while avoiding challenges of buying and storing of safekeeping Bittensor directly. Shares of the trust based on the Bittensor per share as indicated below. The design to track the Bittensor market price, less fees and expenses. Bittensor is a digital asset that's created and transmitted through the operations of the peer-to-peer Bittensor network, a decentralized network of computers that operate on the cryptograph protocol. The Bittensor network allows people to exchange tokens of value called Tao, which are recorded on the public ledger known as the blockchain. So this is the Bittensor Trust, ticker sign GTOA, primary listing OTC. Where is it though? Does it tell us where you can get it at? So that's weird. But you definitely need to bookmark this guy. But let me know what you guys think about that. On the other side is the Resi Financial, one of the niche ecosystem stories in the Bittensor, focused on real estate intelligence and operating the subnet 46. Resi calls itself a real estate oracle and a institutional grade intelligence layer of pro tech. So today we're going to break it down, what Grayscale actually filed, what changed recently, what Resi actually is, why Resi matters for the Tao ecosystem, and whether the combination could help Tao keep hot. Drop your Tao price predictions in the chat and hit the like button. Let's get into it. So let's see here. Just reading up on something. So, as always, this is not financial advice. Let's understand the narrative. The reason Tao is different is because it's not just the AI coin marketing. Grayscale itself describes the Bittensor as the decentralized network for AI development. And it's in research. Bittensor is an open network where anyone can create, train, and access AI. Grayscale's also urged decentralized alternatives like Bittensor are becoming more important in capital, power, and AI concentration into fewer hands. That's why people who care about Tao because this project keeps getting talked about as one of the clearest attempts to build a decentralized machine economy. Now, on an institutional layer product from Grayscale ecosystem, subnets like Resi and the market starts something deeper than just hype. We'll come back to that. More about Grayscale. So, what is Resi Finance? Let's talk about the other half of the show titled Resi. Because if the institutional side of the Tao story, Resi is the ecosystem side. On its own, Resi calls itself a real estate oracle and says Resi is institutional grade intelligence layer of the future of pro tech. It's clearly identified itself as subnet 46 on Bittensor. That means Resi is not some random Tao influencer account. It's actually the subnet project inside the Bittensor ecosystem. It pitch is basically real estate data, still fragmented, gate kept, and expensive, stuck in old systems. Resi wants to bring provable open source intelligence to the world. On its homepage, it constrains old style property data and black box platforms with what it calls a provocable open source intelligence. This matters because it gives people a simple way to understand Bittensor. Bittensor is not just one big, vague AI blob, it's an ecosystem where, let me show you this, guys, where specific subnets focus on specific domains. And Resi is one of those domain specific layers. AI plus real estate intelligence, Bittensor incentives. So on the RZR page, I'm not sure if this is the home page or if this is the Bittensor page. I guess this is just the RZR page. So, what exactly does it do? Resi, Real Estate Superintelligence, is a decentralized AI subnet on the Bittensor network focused on building an open, real time repository for property data and analytics. Subnet 46 was originally known as the Neural AI, a 3D asset generation project. But after a Clarity auction in the late 2024, it was acquired by Resi Labs and reproduced a Resi with a completely new real estate focus. The goal of Resi is to create the world's largest open real estate database by crowd source data from many sources and making it accessible via modern APIs. So what an API is actually calls the file or the data source and returns basically what you're looking for. So instead of giving you a full download, it can give you the specific data you're looking for. It aims to eliminate the traditional barriers in the 45 trillion uh, real estate industry where data has been expensive, fragmented, and tightly controlled by a few providers. In simple terms, Risi unlocks property data that was previously soiled or siloed and paywalled, allowing developers, researchers, and businesses to build a novel AI driven real estate applications on top of the comprehensive, up to date data platform. Some key challenges in traditional real estate data that Risi addresses include high cost of access. Major real estate databases often charge absorbent fees on the order as of 250K per year for basic access. which prices out small businesses and innovators. Fragmented data source. Critical property information is scattered across thousands of county assessors, MLS sites or systems, and property database, each requiring separate contracts or subscriptions. This fragmentation makes it hard to gather a complete picture without immense effort and cost. Restrictive licensing. Even if one can pay for the data, providers impose licensing terms to prevent the use of the data for AI training. For example, barring services like ChatGPT and Clyde from learning it. This protects encumbrances, monopolies, but stifles AI innovation. So basically, they're saying these guys are hoarding the data so it can't get to these learning models. And you're going to see a lot of this in the future. They're going to consolidate data to load it to AI because currently AI doesn't get all the data. And AI is not really operating on the freshest, newest data. Some of the data that the AI pulls is a year. I've seen up to 2 years old, right? The data is not really fresh, right? The models learn or run on old data, and it's kind of how they keep the models from getting too far advanced. Resi eliminates those barriers by leveraging Bittensor's decentralized network of miners and validators to continuously collect and verify property data at scale. In the Resi subnet, participants, miners, are incentivized to scrape the data from accessible sources. And what data scraping is when you go online, right? When you go to Google, Google will give you a lookup. Data scrapers search the entire web and pull all data that's accessible, right? You put in what you're looking for and it searches the web and brings back that specific data. Versus Google is just going to search the meta tag or the metadata, versus the scraper is going to search everything and bring you back all the data. From the public records and county databases, real estate websites like Zillow and Redfin and contribute to the data to a shared knowledge base. This data is then validated by other participants, the validators, in a consensus process to ensure accuracy and integrity before adding to the global database. This approach creates a living, real time national property database that updates the market moves rather than static data set. Unlike closed corporate data silos, Resi's open platform is designed to continuously learn and improve as more data is gathered and used, ultimately enabling AI capabilities that no single company can achieve alone. This initiative scope is 120 million properties across the US with plans to expand globally, making Resi a foundational infrastructure for the next generation real estate technologies across all sectors. And these guys are not going to like this. So, if this thing takes off, it's going to make buku money and it's going to shut a lot of these real estate companies down, especially these data companies. I've been in fintech, which is financial services, for a long time, and I know exactly what these guys are talking about. When you pull data, right, it's segmented. Like you get the data for a specific county or a specific city or a specific region. These guys are pulling all the data and going to combine it into one big database. That means they're going to shut down all these little subscription based companies, all these people that get certain data and shut everybody off. So, as people are saying, AI will definitely put a lot of people out of business, and this will put a lot of companies that are hoarding this data and charging you crazy subscriptions to get it out of business. But it's going to give you better data, right? It's going to give you the real estate data across a lot of different platforms and probably better up to date because a lot of these subscription based companies don't give you good data, right? They give you what they can find. So with these guys charging you, you're going to get better data. Open Real Estate Graph builds the world's largest real estate open property database with modern APIs. Decentralized data platform. Miners scrape public records, countries, sites, Zillow, Redfin, etc. Validates for accuracy, rebrands and refocuses formerly Neural AI 3D assets acquired in late 2024 and relaunched as Resi for real estate. Bittensor's incentives, token aligned rewards drive high quality collection validators and uptime, massive internal scope, targeting 150 million plus US properties and global expansion on the roadmap. Live continuous updates, a living data set that tracks market changes, not static quarterly dumps. Cost barrier breaks, replacing pricey siloed data sets, often 250K a year. I need to get in the freaking siloed database business. 250 a year for a subscription, and there's no guarantee that the data is fresh or that's the newest version of the data. So you could theoretically download old data, or heck, you could possibly be getting the data from the AI models and then charging these guys 250 a year for a subscription, of which I'm gonna have to set my little subscription for data for real estate up. If you're charging 250 a year, get in before the Resi takes over. AI ready licenses, data designed for AI training models and analytics, no restrictive terms that block model learning. So, what exactly is the product build? Resi's product is essentially a decentralized platform that collects, verifies, and serves real estate data on massive scales. Technically, it is implemented as a Bittensor subnet where the independent nodes, miners, and validators cooperate to gather property information and maintain a high quality database. The architect of Resi is built around incentivized data mining and rigorous validation. Decentralized data collection, miners in the Resi subnet compete to discover and submit property data from diverse sources, online listings, public record, etc., earning rewards for contributing to useful information. These systems encourage comprehensive coverage by rewarding data at the granular level. Over 100 plus property attributes are tracked and giving bonuses for real and hard to find data, adding previously unlisted properties and rare attributes. This means one miner may focus on scraping basic info, bedroom, price, etc., for thousands of homes, while another specializes in gathering niche data like building permits or HOA regulations, all submitted data tagged with confidence metrics and timestamps so that the knowledge base remains current and can decay or update over time as things change. That is crazy. These guys went about it the right way. I'm shocked here. I guess we'll go over to X. So this is your main man, BTM Crypto News Network. Make sure you sign up. Looks like we had a listing explosion from the Tao and the ZBCM data we've been putting out yet. Yeah, Tao is going up in no time, 100 billion market cap. So while you mention that, let's check that out actually. Currently, wow, Tao is 321. I remember when Tao was at $150, man, last month, right? And just for transparency, I am staking Tao in Uphold. Uphold has where you can stake Tao, and I got in early January, and so far it was making about, let me see, I think it was 5.4% API every 2 days. And now we are back on track. I think I was making 15 to 20 cents every 2 days, and now it's went up. So I got to get some more style staked. So currently, 2.6 billion market cap, up 2.55% on the hour, 12.8% on the day, 15.9 on the week, 87.5% in the last 30 days. Let's freaking go. For 90 days, 47.4, and for the year, 19.56. Where else are you going to find anything that's up 85.8% on the month? So going over to the coin market cap is saying, drum roll please, current crypto market cap is 2.38 trillion, down 1.67%. CMC 20 is $143.90, down 1.95%. The fear and greed is back to fear at 30. We are pulling away pretty much right in the middle of altcoin season and Bitcoin dominance. So we're pulling back away from the Bitcoin dominance. Crypto RSI is currently 45.7. So we are pulling back to oversold. For Bittensor, it is up 11.38% on the day. Market cap is 3.4 billion. Why is this market cap not the same? Why do the market caps never line up? That's weird. Up 11.4%. 24-hour trading volume is 819.7 mil won, up 62.8%. And for some reason, I don't get the updates. Trying to see what the word is about. That's weird. I can't even get any posts. That's freaking weird, man. I guess we can sign out and maybe we'll get some posts on here. Imagine that. Tao shows strong bullish momentum, breaking out of the consolidation range, pushing towards the 310 region. Tao rally is a primary story behind internal ecosystem growth, validated by strength technicals and a sector interest. Can Bittensor subnet category maintain its meteorological growth, or will the profit taking in the SN3, SN4 tokens spill over to Tao? El Salvador now holds 7,600 Bitcoins, a bold long-term play, staking daily, buying dips, and betting on Bitcoin as a hedge. Strong uptrend, tight consolidation, under 121 breakouts loading. Sorry, guys, a few personal commitments kept me away a bit, but I'm back. Premium signals and market updates will continue as usual. Tau is up 9.99%, while AI narratives cool. Here's the constraint play. Everyone's selling the AI winter story as Tau dropped 60% from peaks, but March well data shows 47 million institutional accumulation during the sell-off. Bittensor Tau launched quietly while retail panicked. And I'm going to see if I can find if it is on Fidelity, actually. So let's see. I want to say that was, what was it? GTOA, Bittensor Tau Trust. Is it on Fidelity? Fidelity is the brokerage I use, and it is on here. Son of a gun. It is quietly listed. Bittensor Grayscale Trust. $8.62, up 67.67, 8.47%. And yeah, they snuck that in because I did not see that coming or even heard about it until this article. So if you guys are into ETFs, you're welcome. So keeping it moving, this is a Bittensor Eyes $340 future data points to set strong upside. Tao's up 14%, outperforming the broader crypto market. Coin could rally towards $3.41 resistance levels in the near term. The rally comes amidst the growing institutional interest in Bittensor. The crypto market has been bullish over the last 24 hours. Key support levels for Bitcoin and Ethereum have been held. Tau, the native token of the Bittensor ecosystem, is the best performing among the top 30 cryptocurrencies by market cap. That's weird. It won't let me buy this. Strange. Maybe we got logged out. Yeah, I think we're logged out. Well, that's the coin's up 14%. Technical indicators and derivative data suggest further upward momentum. In the near term, the bulls are targeting $3 to 350 zone and the first time since November 2025. See if we can find Tau again. We got logged back into Fidelity. Tau soars as institutional interest improves. Tau's up 71% in the last 30 days, thanks to growing institutional adoption. Bittender's gaining traction following the listing of staked Tau ETP on NASDAQ Stockholm, which is improved access for professional investors. Furthermore, Grayscale launched a private Bittensor trust for accredited investors to add growing market infrastructure. Exchange data reveals that 5.77 million in Tau outflows occurred over March 21st and 22nd, reflecting ongoing accumulation by spot investors. On-chain data also confirms continued accumulation of Tau by validators over the past 90 days. So if we go over to X, on X, okay, there we go. We can buy it. So this is the subnet alpha, which is this website. It actually shows you all the things that are on Bittensor, which is crazy, man. These guys are literally taking over. So this is AI disruption fears just hit real estate broker. And let's play.
Market is just taking a look around at any possible sector that could be disrupted by AI, selling first, asking questions later.
It's wild. I think that's the perfect context to talk about them. It's like a wrecking ball every day is pointed at a new sector. And some commonalities between them all. It's that, sort of high cost intermediary business, in the case of CBRE, part of their business, a big part of their business, obviously, is managing the properties. But then you have a lot of, valuation businesses, consulting businesses, arranging these big, complicated leases. And that's kind of one area where I think the risk is, and analysts are pointing at, is that intermediary work they do. The other thing, and their CEO got into this on the conference call a little bit today, is quite much more simple. It's just the fact that if AI is going to displace a lot of white collar jobs, people are just going to need less real estate to house them. And that's a big risk for them. So kind of a two-pronged risk from this AI trade for them.
So in this instance, there wasn't necessarily some AI model or large language model that did something that replicates what these real estate services companies do specifically. It's just the possibility that it will one day.
Yeah, I think people are, we're sort of transitioning from this theoretical phase of AI, what it's potentially capable of doing, to real world applications coming out. And I think if you look at those Anthropic plugins that came out last week, that really, at first it started in the legal services, the writing's kind of on the wall there, that type of business, that really sort of labor intensive intermediary business is really ripe for disruption on this. That said, a lot of analysts we've talked to, and the team I work with has talked to, a lot of investors we've talked to are like, this doesn't make a lot of sense. This is a big overreaction to a lot of this stuff. The quote I keep seeing over and over again coming into my inbox is, sell now and think about it later. You know? And so I do think, people are expecting some, at least, these stocks to find a bottom and maybe rebound. But that threat of disruption is there, and it's going from sector to sector for real.
So Matt Levine, who writes the Money Stuff column, says that
So shout out to I guess this is
very
Andy
much feels
for that update. Bittensor has more catalysts than any asset in AI crypto right now. So subnet companies. Oh wow, this is a lot, man. These guys got too much going on, man.
Bittensor, which I presume this is from, is by far the best report about Bittensor that's been.
I'm gonna see why this volume is so low, though. Oh, that's why.
Yeah, appreciate those sentiments, Barry, and definitely want to give Tom Couture his.
Say the report that Fundstrat put out about Bittensor, which I presume this is from, is by far the best report about Bittensor that's been published. So everybody should get a copy of that.
Yeah, appreciate those sentiments, Barry, and definitely want to give Tom Couture his flowers here. He did a lot of the blocking and tackling on this.
Say the report that Fundstrat put out about Bittensor, which I presume this is from, is by far the best.
So shout out to, who is that? Fun. What is this? Barbie True Blue. Okay. And this is Bittensor. This is the actual Resi Twitter page, which only has 377 followers, which is weird. But again, guys, we are early. So shout out to BTM, the early crypto value finder. So let me know what you guys think about this project. Bittensor, subnet 46 on Bittensor will succeed. And I say this absolute conviction, grounded in 2 decades at the epicenter of residential validation. From 1997 to 2000, industry's wave of electronic appraisals appeared. They failed not for lack of data, but for complete absence of reasoning. These systems perform only basic mathematical adjustments: bedroom, bathroom count, square footage, lot size, age, garage capacity variables that may be in theory yet ignored by quantitative forces that actually distinguish one property from another. Key valuations tethered to real world market behavior. The other 2 identical homes, 1 block apart, illustrate the gap perfectly. One backing onto the industrial water tower, while the neighborhoods commands paranormal city lights, and one marred by constant traffic noise versus quiet public backyard overlooking the water. No purely quantitative model could reconcile those differences. Resi solved this eloquently by leveraging decentralized machine learning on Bittensor, combining the satellite imagery, neighborhood analytics, walkable scores, and real-time noise and environment data, and hundreds of contextual signs that demand genuine interface. We now have appraisals that are fair, dynamic, and audible and institutional precise. I know this work because I lived the limitations firsthand from 2000 to 2016. I owned and operated California's largest independent residential appraisals and validation firm, advising major banks, private equity groups, and institutional investors. The problem we battle daily are now resolvable, and Resi is the subnet building the solution. This is high risk, high reward alpha that's actually delivered bullish Tau and subnet 46. So again, this is new alpha and ticket how you want it, but they're saying this is high risk, high reward, which is most of crypto, guys. A lot of new things are coming, and it's hard to determine what's good and what's not, right? This project could fail or this project could make a freaking fortune. Tokenized properties fail without trusting pricing data. This is what Resi fixes. The Bitcast network will be driving into how Resi's lab, Oracle, will bring the 300 trillion real estate market on chain. And a lot of people have been talking, bringing the real estate market on chain. Tao engagements are up 112% in the last 30 days. Not price, not speculation. Social engagement and leading indicators that track the real attention before capital flows. 3.86 million engaged in the last 24 hours alone, against the daily average of 1.6 million. That's 2.5x the baseline that didn't come from nowhere. And you guys are freaking wordy as heck. The Bittensor subnet economy now spans 12 verticals, 15 subnets in compute alone, 9 in each financial and fintech. Tao just had its supply halved, and Grayscale is filling for the US spot ETFs. So it's prediction and forecasting's 4, gaming socials 4, AI interface APIs 5, security and detection 5, science and biorobotics 7, vision medical 3D 7, data and search 7, agents and software 8, trading and financials 9, DeFi exchanges 9, AI machine learning training 10, and compute and infrastructure 15. Wow, these guys are freaking everywhere, man. I'm glad I staked it while I could. And all of these are freaking long. But let's go over to this video. Where is it? This guy. He's talking about Resi, and maybe we can run the whole video. But I want to do the video part first, and I guess we'll come back and just play the whole video.
Because there's 128 of them. Resi is doing the Oracle for the $300 trillion real estate market. So Zillow tried to go ahead and do algorithmic house buying. Unfortunately, it collapsed. They had a 7 to 14% error rate. And so they were losing billions of dollars inaccurately trying to project the pricing of a house. Resi's fix is decentralized AI where miners are competing for accuracy. And so they're all building their own models to try to get the right valuation for a property. The most accurate ones win a mission, and every single time the accuracy improves. They're trying to get to about 1 to 2% error rate, which is going to unlock institutional grade markets. They have a long-term vision of bringing DeFi for real estate, and macro tailwinds say that BCG estimates tokenized assets hitting $16 trillion by 2030. This is a total addressable market of over $300 trillion. And the TLDR is that decentralized AI may finally solve property valuation issues. So they're calling it the Zillow killer. Remember, this is just one subnet of many. Resi is a cryptocurrency that is built on top of the Tao ecosystem through a subnet, and I believe to be just in general, the Tao ecosystem, a disruptive technology, because more and more people compete here to get proper property valuation models. And so that has just been a pattern with all of these different subnets. They're all competing to make their respective AI models stronger and stronger and stronger for these Tao emissions. So why is everyone suddenly paying attention? I want to talk about the 4 catalysts that just collided in the same month. We had Templar's Covenant 72B. Mark Jeffrey said a Napsterized colossus. Templar is the world champion and nobody has come close. Anthropic's co-founder said, I didn't think you could do this, and yet they did. Jensen Huang and Chamath during the All In podcast, Chamath called it a pretty crazy technical accomplishment. Jensen endorsed, remember, this is the CEO of NVIDIA, the most highly valued company on the planet. He endorsed decentralized AI training as complementary to proprietary model. That made Tao jump 17% in a single day. We have the Grayscale Tao ETF filing, which is the first US ETF for decentralized AI, the same playbook that supercharged Bitcoin and Ethereum. Important for the institutions. Targon went ahead and did Intel, TDX, and NVIDIA. Very, very, very important. The one-liner is Targon built a virtual machine where you can run AI privately on someone else's hardware and cryptographically prove that no one saw your data. Mark Jeffrey says it's verifiably private inference at a 10th of the cost. All of these AI startups are being subsidized essentially by Tao Mission, which is why they can go ahead and offer such affordable rates against their market. Open source always wins is one of the things that Mark Jeffrey went ahead and talked about. He's lived through 4 cycles where the decentralized version beat the giants. His core thesis is everything in AI is commoditizing towards zero. DeepSeek proved it. In that world, the network that can sell the same thing at 90% off wins. And Ridges, one of the subnets he's invested in, is already scoring higher than Claude and Cursor on coding benchmarks. He spent less than $1 million versus Anthropic's billions. And he actually, he put it down. I really like the explanation he put here. It was AOL versus the open internet. It was Windows versus Linux. It was Gold versus Bitcoin, and Big AI versus Bittensor. Bitcoin beat out Gold, Linux beat out Windows, and the open internet beat out AOL. So right now, the hope here is that decentralized AI beats the big AI companies, because at the end of the day, there's only so much compute that these big AI companies can tap.
So I'm going to start this over because this is some decent alpha, but I was just doing the Resi, but we're going to run it all the way back. This is how many Bittensors do I need to become a millionaire? And this is JM Crypto.
Bittensor has been one of the better performing cryptocurrencies out there, going from about $180 per coin to over $280 over the span of 2 weeks. I wanted in this video to solve how much Tao you need to become a millionaire. This is going to be data-backed evidence coming from a 40-minute interview that I personally did with Mark Jeffrey, a partner at Stillcore Capital. Instead of just telling you arbitrary numbers, I'm going to be telling you exactly his thesis on a $3,000 per coin Bittensor by the end of this year. That represents over a 10x return at the end of the year. I'm going to be talking about Jensen Huang's endorsement and the Grayscale ETF filing, so let's get into it because we have a lot to talk about. Mark Jeffrey quoted Tao as the 3rd great coin. Now, he has a US fund dedicated to Bittensor. He's an OG in Bitcoin since 2013, the host of the Hash Rate podcast, and their goal is to get 1% of all Tao. His Bittensor explanation is the following. Imagine forming a company, but instead of employees, freelancers with PhDs worldwide compete to finish each task. Only the best get paid. A blockchain pays them. That's Bittensor. Bitcoin had one task, find the hash. Bittensor expands that across 128 AI domains. Each subnet is its own company with its own contest. What Bitcoin did for stranded energy, Bittensor is doing for stranded talent. And that means Bittensor is an AI incentive machine. The greater the AI startup is, the more Bittensor rewards they end up getting. And that flywheel brings talent together together for AI. And as we've been seeing a lot of AI innovation recently for Tao. Mark Jeffrey says owning Tao is like owning the S&P 500 of all Bittensor subnets. If one runs, you don't miss out. You fractionally participate just by owning Tao. Now, these are a lot of different subnets. I'm just going to go over very briefly all of them. Templar is the one that the NVIDIA CEO talked about. They trained the largest decentralized LLM on the planet. It's a 72 billion parameter LLM by over 70 contributors on commodity hardware. It's history. It's historic. And that led Templar to go over $100 million in market cap. There's Targan with a projected revenue of $10.4 million. They just came out with a co-authored an Intel report, absolutely massive. They're giving private inference at a tenth of the cost. They raised over $10 million Series A. Still Core is invested. We have Shoots that is, well, was the largest by market cap subnet out there. A serverless AI, which, by the way, already the majority inference provider on OpenRouter. They are already the majority inference provider. So a lot of people are using Bittensor without knowing it. And this is 90% cheaper than the cloud. You're going to see this as kind of a pattern. Ridges spent less than $1 million to score higher than Claude and Cursor. Hippias is doing decentralized storage. Resi is out there doing real estate AI oracles. Just breaking down one of the subnets because there's 128 of them. Resi is doing the oracle for the $300 trillion real estate market. So Zillow tried to go ahead and do algorithmic house buying. Unfortunately, it collapsed. They had a 7 to 14% error rate. And so they were losing billions of dollars inaccurately trying to project the pricing of a house. Resi's fix is decentralized AI where miners are competing for accuracy. And so they're all building their own models to try to get the right valuation for a property. The most accurate ones win a mission, and every single time the accuracy improves. They're trying to get to about 1 to 2% error rate, which is going to unlock institutional grade markets. They have a long-term vision of bringing DeFi for real estate, and macro tailwinds say that BCG estimates tokenized assets hitting $16 trillion by 2030. This is a total addressable market of over $300 trillion. And the TLDR is that decentralized AI may finally solve property valuation issues. So they're calling it the Zillow killer. Remember, this is just one subnet of many. Resi is a cryptocurrency that is built on top of the Tao ecosystem through a subnet. And I believe to be, just in general, the Tao ecosystem, a disruptive technology because more and more people compete here to get proper property valuation models. And so that has just been a pattern with all of these different subnets. They're all competing to make their respective AI models stronger and stronger and stronger for these Tao emissions. So why is everyone suddenly paying attention? I want to talk about the 4 catalysts that just collided in the same month. We had Templar's Covenant 72B. Mark Jeffrey said a Napsterized colossus. Templar is the world champion and nobody has come close. Anthropic's co-founder said, I didn't think you could do this. And yet they did. Jensen Huang and Chamath during the All In podcast, Chamath called it a pretty crazy technical accomplishment. Jensen endorsed, remember, this is the CEO of NVIDIA, the most highly valued company on the planet. He endorsed decentralized AI training as complementary to proprietary model. That made Tao jump 17% in a single day. We have the Grayscale Tao ETF filing, which is the first US ETF for decentralized AI, the same playbook that supercharged Bitcoin and Ethereum. Important for the institutions. Targon went ahead and did Intel, TDX, and NVIDIA. Very, very, very important. The one-liner is Targon built a virtual machine where you can run AI privately on someone else's hardware and cryptographically prove that no one saw your data. Mark Jeffrey says it's verifiably private inference at a tenth of the cost. All of these AI startups are being subsidized essentially by Tao Mission, which is why they can go ahead and offer such affordable rates against their market. Open source always wins is one of the things that Mark Jeffrey went ahead and talked about. He's lived through 4 cycles where the decentralized version beat the giants. His core thesis is everything in AI is commoditizing towards zero. DeepSeek proved it. in that world, the network that can sell the same thing at 90% off wins. And Ridges, one of the subnets he's invested in, is already scoring higher than Claude and Cursor on coding benchmarks. He spent less than $1 million versus Anthropic's billions. And he actually, he put it down. I really like the explanation he put here. It was AOL versus the open internet. It was Windows versus Linux. It was Gold versus Bitcoin, and Big AI versus Bittensor. Bitcoin beat out Gold, Linux beat out Windows, and the open internet beat out AOL. So right now, the hope here is that decentralized AI beats the big AI companies, because at the end of the day, there's only so much compute that these big AI companies can tap into versus literally every single computer on the planet that the average person has access to that wants to contribute. So really, there's no competition.
That is crazy. The big AI is going to shut down a lot of these conglomerates that get data and hold data, right? There's a lot of companies. Well, selling data is a big business, right? If you're not up to date or fluent in the data business, data brokers, which is like Facebook and what is this? Instagram. These guys are getting your data and selling it, like Tesla. Tesla's biggest business is selling data. A lot of people don't even know that. They make more on selling data than they do the cars, right? The cars drive around and collect this data, and in turn they store it and they sell it to these GPS companies, and they're making more with excuse me with selling data than they actually do selling cars, which is crazy if you think about it. But the big money is in data. That's why your phone collects data, your TV collects data, your cars collect data, pretty much. Your computers collect data, your browsers collect data. Everybody's collecting data to feed to these models. That's why they're building all these data centers and using a lot of this collected data to do research. Like when you're talking and your phone pops up, I don't know, you're talking about sandwiches, your phone pops up all these sandwich places because they've already collected the data and they know which systems to use and to display, because from all the data collected and the machine learning models that they've already started, right? So it is a big business in the data collection process and for marketing, right? These guys turn around and sell marketing data to customers in different client bases. But let's get back to the video.
If enough people want to contribute into the Bittensor ecosystem, they are much more competitive than big AI companies could ever be. TAO's best month is backed by real data. They're up 46% in March, and the futures open interest has nearly tripled. Mark Jeffrey says we're in the same window where Bitcoin went from $250 to $10,000 per coin right after its first halving. If you didn't know, TAO halved back in December 2025. So, I mean, now's a pretty good time to get into this stuff. And if you want to buy TAO, the number one crypto exchange in the US right now is Kraken. That's where I have been buying my TAO. They have the lowest fees. They actually offer you staking rewards. And so if you want to tap into that, I'll leave a link in the description to Kraken, and let's keep going. Now, this is a quote that I really liked from him. I think it's a conservative bet that by the end of this year, it'll be $3,000 per TAO. You have the Bitcoin-like dynamic, but on top of that, you have all of this Ethereum-like demand. So his logic is TAO just had its first halving. Bitcoin had a massive run in the same post-halving window. Plus, TAO has actual utility demand. You have to spend TAO to create subnets, mine, stake, and get subnet tokens. Only about 20% of TAO is staked in subnets now. Of course, that's going to be going drastically up as these subnets gain adoption. He thinks we could hit 80% plus at some point. And so how many TAO do you need to hit $1 million with his still core $3,000 target? 334 is the number that we're going with. I understand that not everybody has 334 Tau worth, but at the end of the day, those are the numbers that I'm working with. I'm not here to give you delusional moon math. I'm here to give you the numbers that the experts, that the largest funds in these ecosystems are giving you. So instead of just giving you random numbers to make you feel better, I'm going to be telling you the actual numbers. And so at a Tau price of $3,000, that would be about $95,000 you would need right now, or 334 Tau. At the old all-time high of Tau of $660, you would need about $375,000 to become a millionaire by that time. And at a $50,000 Tau.
Wow, just $375,000, huh? 95,000 to get 3. What is this? 200 Tau, 57,000, 20 Tau. What is this? If the price reaches 50,000, 20 Tau will make you a millionaire. If the price reaches 50,000. Wow, that's crazy.
You'd only need about 20 Tau. But remember, these are projections for 2026. Things can take time to get to those levels. And at the end of the day, Bittensor is a massive experiment. So whether or not it works is up to debate. Stillcore's capital 2026 year-end target is $3,000 per Tau, which is about a $63 billion market cap. That would put you at the Solana territory. So at about the same market cap as Solana is right now. Solana does smart contracts. Bittensor is trying to do intelligence. And so in terms of the bull case, the Bitcoin scarcity model that Bittensor has, they follow the same exact tokenomics as Bitcoin. They have a $21 million cap, and they also have halvings that cut daily emission in half. We have Jensen Huang, Chamath, the Anthropic co-founder, who have all acknowledged the technology. We have Grayscale ETF filings, which means institutional money pipeline is forming. We have revenue from a lot of these different subnets, like Targan has $10 million a year. We have Shoots, Hippias, Resi, which are all generating. Mark says 20 to 30 subnets could become multi-billion dollar companies. That's more signal than in any cycle he's participated in. In terms of the bear case, of course, this cryptocurrency has done what other cryptocurrencies do. It's 63% below its all-time high right now. The RSI is technically overbought because it's been having a lot of hype at the moment. The end user demand is technically modest versus centralized AI. It's still very early innings. That represents the current market caps of these coins. Mark himself said most of them are probably going to be bad startups. So not all 128 are going to survive. I would say if you're getting into Bittensor subnets, please don't throw all your money into them. A lot of these are highly speculative AI startups. Holding Tau at the end of the day is the index. So if these startups do end up doing well, while you might not have as much upside as speculating in a single company, you will catch the upside on Tau. So you don't really have to worry about that. And $3,000 per Tau is definitely a pretty big market cap.
So Tau would be the best overall play versus individual companies. And I wasn't even sure, like he mentioned, about buying a lot of these, because as he says, some of these guys ain't going to work out no way. So it definitely would be good to get the overall company, which would be Tau, versus buying the individual subnets. And you can see how many subnets are here. And with all these subnets, it is probably, actually, I know it's impossible for all these to succeed, guys. This would make Tau bigger than Microsoft, right? If all these, all these aren't even here yet, but yeah, if all these ones that are here were to, so where is 49? What was this, 49? That's weird. What was this? This guy was, there's 46, 47. There it is, Resi. Perfect. Wait, that ain't it. Is it 45? It was 46, wasn't it? Let's see here. Yeah, it's 46. Dang it. So that was 45. 46. There it is. Nero AI. And I remember Nero AI being a mineable GPU token. This is weird. But let's finish this video and then I guess we'll go over to my main man.
These are some
Freeman.
$63 billion. And that would require quite the massive capital rotation into AI cryptocurrencies. With this being said, I do think it's important to know that what Bittensor is doing is pretty innovative. The fact that you can incentivize people to bring their startups in and scale them as aggressively as Bittensor has is something that, while people can speculate its usefulness, it's already presented itself through Targon and Templar and Shoots and Hippias and many of these different subnets. They are being actively used. They are actively scaling. They are actually making revenue, which many of these crypto companies aren't making revenue, even though they're worth tens of billions of dollars. So Bittensor is, by shot for shot, a lot more useful than the average cryptocurrency. I could see a world where a lot of these different AI cryptocurrencies end up becoming subnets because they want to fight for these rewards on Bittensor. At the end of the day, you know, this is all not financial advice. I did want to do a deep dive here of Mark Jeffrey's prediction, which I think is the best outlook for Bittensor in the year of 2026. So if you enjoyed that, Tao is the highest conviction AI play that I have in crypto. It has Bitcoin scarcity, has real AI utility. It has an NVIDIA cosign and a hedge fund that's accumulating a lot of.
Yes, I don't know how these guys aren't a monopoly, right? Because they pretty much got
Tao has
they pretty much have the whole Bittensor thing on lock. So I don't know what you guys think about that as well. Are you here for it? Do you like it? Do you love it? What do you think about Bittensor Tao? Oh wow, screen a minute ago. I'm trying to figure out if there's another video. I guess we'll go with my main man Freeman Finance real quick and see. And then I guess we can chop it up and make some smaller videos from the stream. So let's see what my main man Freeman has. Shout out to Freeman Finance. If you're not following him, go ahead and check him out as well.
Crazy price predictions that we are hearing about for Tao, but is it out of the question?
$500 billion market cap for, Tao, which would be roughly, if it's trading at 2 or 3 billion, let's put it at 2.5 billion. That's a 200x from here.
Or is Bittensor Tao the most asymmetric opportunity that we have ever had in cryptocurrency? In this video, we're going to break down some Bittensor Tao price predictions and not just some fluffy numbers thrown out of the air. We're actually going to break it down by reasoning and how it could be the most undervalued asset of all time. Before we get started, I am not a financial advisor. None of this is financial advice, and always do your own research. Now, get ready to be blown away. Tao, at the time of recording this video, currently $309. And if you follow me over on X or in my Discord, you will see that I actually called it around 149. That's a 2x. And I've been trading Tao the entire way, shorting when I think to short, longing when I think to long, all with the goal to add into my spot bag. Now, that's not saying that's what you should do, but that's what I'm doing. And if you happen to be looking for a new exchange, I'll leave a link down for Blowfin down below. But I want to show y'all what I posted February 13th. Bittensor is the most asymmetric trade I see in the next 6 to 12 months. Maybe let's say 6 to 24 months now. We need all artificial intelligence to be decentralized on chain. We are early. I want to let you guys have a listen to this. Highs of 700 down to where it is now, right? But you can see volume right now is extremely high on Tao, like even more volume than when it was at 600%. That's like, I think something's coming. So y'all seen it was 149 in that video, 149 right there. That long did absolutely amazing. But like I said, my overall goal is to get more and more spot Tao. And guys, if there happens to be any subnets watching, I would love to partner with a really good subnet for this sponsorship spot on the live stream where it says Algrain right there. Just a little side note, get in touch with me if interested. But why am I so bullish on Tao? Before we talk about these crazy price predictions, first we have to understand, what is Bittensor Tao and how does it set itself apart from absolutely everything else? You know, I wasn't around for the very early BTC days, but I'm around for the very early TAO days. Tao, you can see decentralized sound money, but what was it about? It was about against government fiat. They're printing, that's controlled, right? It's real money is what we believe. Well, Bittensor Tao is the same thing, but with artificial intelligence. We see that we have centralized AI controlled by just a few companies. So that sounds great. But what is a Bittensor? And you can see right here in the center, we have Tao. And then we have all these subnets, subnet 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and it just keeps going all the way around. Think of these as individual companies. They all do something different. One might do camera intelligence. One might do large language model training. They're all decentralized and they all funnel from Tao. They are all bought via Tao. And the kicker is there's a limit of 128 of these subnets for now. They wanted to have quality control, but there's not thousands of subnets being launched every day, right? A subnet actually costs approximately $200K to launch one. So not just anybody is launching one. You're not going to see any meme coin subnets, anything like that. But you could think of this as the parent company, let's say something like a Google. And then this could be the individual companies like Gmail, Google Meets, things like that. That's a good way I like to look at it. And so now I want to show y'all something of Chamath, you know, an OG investor, OG in Bitcoin, OG in the tech TradFi industry, talking about Bittensor Tao to the NVIDIA CEO. This is absolutely huge.
But there was a training run that happened in this crypto project called Bittensor. Subnet 3, they managed to train a 4 billion parameter llama model, totally distributed, with a bunch of people contributing excess compute. But they were able to do it statefully and manage a training run, which I thought was like a pretty crazy technical accomplishment.
Yeah.
Because it's like random people and each person gets a little share.
Our modern version of folding at home.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
wow is all I could say. And you can see that I got 63K views. So there's definitely a lot of attention on it. This is the subnet that they were referring to, subnet 3. Okay, so this is one of the companies within Bittensor Tao. And you can see it's currently only 125 mil market cap. You know, some people in the Bittensor community think that, wow, it's so big. It's so big. Guys, we've seen meme coins on Solana run to $40 billion before. I mean, that is absolutely small in the grand scheme of things. But now I want to show you how this all wraps up, because when we start looking at artificial intelligence and we know how large AI is in every part of our life and how it's going to continue to go even higher, you can see Tao is currently ranked only 28th. And even though we are in a macro bear market, it has climbed from in the 40s all the way up to number 28. And so now when we start looking at comparisons, you have Bitcoin, that's the store of value. You have Ethereum, there's smart contracts there. You have, you know, BNB, well, that's kind of similar to Ethereum, right? Smart contracts, what difference is there? Okay, Solana, well, it's just another smart contract platform. What's different about that? Tron, what's different about that? You see, we've got all of these in the top 10. And so what if Bittensor just found its way into the top 10? Into the top 5. Let's take a look at that. You could see at the current market cap of Solana, and keep in mind, this is decentralized artificial intelligence. It would be a $5,300 Bittensor Tao. At the all-time high, that would be $13K. If we come and take a look at something even more, saying AI continues to accelerate and it passes up Ethereum, that is a $27K. Bittensor Tao. At the all-time high, that's a $60K Bittensor Tao. And then let's say that all of these big players that you start hearing talk about BTC, and some of them even posted Tao over BTC. Let's say they get on CNBC, they go all around the TradFi world, and they start saying Bittensor Tao is AI's Bitcoin. Look at this. Currently 146K for Bittensor Tao. And the reason why I don't think any of these crazy is because any other project that has launched in crypto since Bitcoin was competing within cryptocurrency. But Bittensor Tao is not competing within cryptocurrency. It is competing within TradFi because these are all individual artificial intelligence companies that have the parent company or umbrella being Bittensor Tao. And so whenever we come look at something like OpenAI, which is a large language model, ChatGPT, that we use, that could potentially be a subnet on Bittensor, you know? And so it's really, really mind-blowing when I start looking at the potential of this, and I'm becoming more and more of a Bittensor Tao maxi. You can see this one large language model, not Gemini plus OpenAI plus xAI. No, one company, OpenAI, is one to IPO at around $1 trillion valuation. And they don't have a full product suite, right? That is one, the equivalent of what could potentially be one subnet. Okay. And when you look at BTC's overall market cap of 1.4, and that's one, I mean, guys, getting somewhere in the middle is not, you know, crazy to me. And maybe call me crazy. It won't be a smooth ride. It's going to be up and down. But the way that artificial intelligence is accelerating and the drive in demand for decentralized AI and not having these single large companies worth trillions controlling it, I think is a huge demand. And even from the business use case, it's a lot cheaper. They are able to provide services via these subnets for 80, 90% discounts than if you were to go the traditional route. But I want to know, what do you think about Bittensor Tao? Does it have the potential to crack into the top 5? That would at minimum be a
Bittensor Tao is turning all the way up. Shout out to my main man Freeman. I see you out here, brother. Let me see. Make sure you check out his video as well to get more information. But this is let me see, where are we? So let's be honest. There are things you should not overstate on the stream. Grayscale has a real Bittensor Trust live on its site. Trust has a real SEC filing history, including Form 10 and S1 in late 2025. There was a fresh March 2026 trust update to the valuation benchmark. Res is a real Bittensor subnet focused on real estate intelligence. That is already bullish enough. The other big risk is execution. Resi's homepage references APIs, appraisals, predictive markets, and dashboards, but some of those are shown as coming soon. So the smarter framing is Res is promising the theoretically powered, but investors still need execution. That makes your stream stronger because you sound informed instead of blind hyped. So here's my final take. Bittensor's heating up because the story is getting stronger from the two directions. Grayscale gives Tao institutional credibility. The trust is live. The filings are real. And March 2026 benchmark update shows the product is still active. Behind the scenes, Resi gives Tao ecosystem depth. It shows how Bittensor can support specialized intelligent markets in real world sectors like real estate, where the data is fragmented and AI driven intelligence could be valuable. Resi explicitly positions itself as the Bittensor subnet and a institutional grade intelligence layer for ProfTech. I guess it's proposition testing. That's why Tao remains one of the most interesting AI plays in crypto. Not just hype, not just a chart, not just the numbers going up, an actual network story with institutional product support, um, ecosystem expansion, and real sector specific subnets. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Do you think Grayscale is the bigger catalyst? Do you think Resi and the subnet economy are the bigger story? And how high can Tao really go from here? Like, subscribe, and let's keep watching this one. So let me know what you think in the comments. The Grayscale Bittensor Trust is live. xTAO. Inception date June 10th, 2024. Public inception December 12th, 2025. Form 10 filed October 10th, 2025. S1 signed December 30th, 2025. 8K filed March 4th, 2026. Says the trust switches to the CoinDesk Bittensor Bitmart rate as of March 6th. Grayscale said research Tao's halving and demand growth could be a positive catalyst. But thanks for joining. And as always, let's get back to the money, guys. So the Resi details. Resi calls itself the real estate oracle. Resi says it is subnet 46 on Bittensor. Resi says it is the institutional grade intelligence layer for the future of ProfTech. It frames real estate as a full gateway data and black box system. It pitches open source intelligence as the alternative. It referenced plans, products like dashboards, APIs, predictive API markets, and appraisal APIs. Tao Stats identifies subnet 46 Resi as the real estate oracle. So again, thanks for joining. And as always, let's get back to the money, guys, and stay dangerous. It's your main man, BTM, signing out. And miners out. Thanks for joining. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Miners out.